ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
A woman lying on the sand at Oceanside Harbor crushed to death by a tractor. Good evening. I'm Lindsay Pena.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Police say the horrific accident involved a tractor that was dredging the sand. This all unfolded around 10 o'clock in the morning along the beach along North Pacific Drive in the area by the South Jetty. Our 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco tells us the woman did something shortly before the accident that caught the attention of surfers. Rachel.
Hi, Steve. Right now, it looks like a typical day here at the beach. You can see a lot of families still down near the surf. And right now, the only sign of the tragedy that happened this morning is the heavy machinery parked over there in the sand. Pat DeYoung is on vacation with her children and grandchildren. They're staying in the condos right across from the beach. They heard the sirens Monday morning around 10.
It's very sobering when you're on vacation and something very real happens. It kind of brings perspective back around.
Police tape blocked off a portion of the sand until early afternoon. Investigators examining the area around this tractor. A woman was asleep in the sand when the driver of the heavy machinery ran over her, crushing her to death.
Driver thought he hit, a deep rut in the sand. Went back to check and, of course, found the female that he had run over.
There's piping all along the beach, part of a sand dredging project. Crews were removing the equipment when the accident happened.
Normally people, are aware of their surroundings here because we have this big pipe that's going up and down the beach that shows that we're doing the dredge. So they should be aware that, there is heavy equipment going up and down the beach.
Police say it's possible the woman was homeless. They didn't find ID on her. A surfer who saw her hours before the accident says she was leaning up against a wall, barely able to stand.
I think she was intoxicated or coming down off of something, but she weighed about 90 pounds. She didn't look good. She looked like she's been up for a while. Lady was leaning up against the wall. Looks like she was holding herself up. And I was concerned about her. And we asked her if she was okay, and she seemed okay.
DeYoung says she can't help but think of the woman's family.
It's somebody's son or daughter. There's a loss of life today.
The driver of the tractor works for a construction company that's based in Seattle. We called to see if they normally use spotters to help the drivers when they're operating such large equipment. We have not yet heard back. Police are still trying to identify the woman. Reporting live in Oceanside, Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
Thank you, Rachel. Now to breaking news where a fast-moving wildfire is burning in the Angeles National Forest between Santa Clarita and Lancaster. This started about 2 hours ago. The blaze was dubbed the Martindale Fire and has burned at least 200 acres. The fire has prompted evacuations along Bouquet Canyon Road and is threatening structures. Fire crews say the blaze has the potential to burn up to 1,000 acres due to weather conditions. And closer to home, a red flag warning for San Diego County has been extended until tomorrow evening. That means the hot, dry, and windy conditions will increase our fire danger. ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala shows us how local fire crews are preparing to respond in the event a major fire erupts.
This year is unlike any other. Across California, a record-breaking 3.7 million acres have already burned in more than 8,000 wildfires. With dangerous weather conditions here this week in San Diego County, CAL FIRE and San Diego Fire Rescue, along with other agencies, are preparing for the possibility of another disaster.
We know the potential's there.
We're looking at near record high temperatures, a mild Santa Ana event, and combine that with our fuels, the vegetation that burns is reaching critically dry levels.
Earlier this month, the Valley Fire destroyed homes and charred thousands of acres. Evacuation orders were put in place as firefighters attacked the flames from the ground and the air. Monday, the National Weather Service extended a red flag warning through Tuesday at 5 p.m. and a heat advisory will also be in effect Tuesday through Thursday. Fire crews have increased staffing and firefighting equipment.
We're holding all our firefighters on duty. We're staffing nearly every piece of equipment we have to make sure that we're well covered. We brought on contract dozers.
Our helicopters will be on 24 hours a day. We're staffing up 5 additional brush engines as well as 2 water tenders.
SDGE has also warned some East County residents of the possibility of public safety power shutoffs. Firefighters are asking residents to avoid doing anything that can spark a fire and be prepared to evacuate if needed.
We ask that people don't wait to be told to evacuate. Make sure you leave early if you feel threatened.
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
SDGE initially warned approximately 700 residents in the backcountry of the possibly shut down for public safety. This afternoon, they were given the all clear. Although SDGE says Descanso could possibly be impacted overnight into tomorrow. If that is the case, customers will be notified through texts, phone calls, and emails. And our ABC 10 News meteorologist Angelica Campos is tracking those weather conditions and the increased fire risk. Hi, Angelica.
Hi, Lindsay. And for anyone who's wondering, why is it that sometimes they shut power and others they don't? Typically, the threat is the possibility of the winds knocking down trees or power lines. In that event, it could spark flames and eventually start a fire. But thankfully, the winds as we go into tomorrow, they could peak at 35 miles an hour. Usually over 45 is when they could bring down trees and power lines. So that's why we're in the clear for tonight. But we still have a red flag warning, and we also have critical fire danger. We're not the only ones. It extends all the way up north. Here in San Diego, it includes our valleys, foothills, and mountains. It'll be in effect until 5 p.m. on Tuesday. And just like you heard already, a heat advisory also issued for Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. until 8 p.m., including coastal communities. The heat is expected to peak Wednesday and Thursday. Coming up in our 7-day forecast, I'll show you what to expect as we get ready for another scorcher this week.
Thank you, Angelica. One person is in custody on suspicion of arson after an apartment building fire in the East Village. That's according to San Diego Fire. The battalion chief tells us the fire was set inside an apartment on the 2nd floor of the building on 17th Street. About 200 people were evacuated. The person in custody was injured, but no other injuries have been reported. This is a new complex called The Link, which broke ground in April. It's designated mainly for people who have experienced homelessness.
Now to the coronavirus, and as schools across the nation get ready to restart their athletic programs, a new study is highlighting the potential heart effects that coronavirus can pose to young athletes. Our ABC 10 News anchor Vanessa Van Hefty spoke with a local doctor about recommendations for a safe return to physical activity.
The recent death of Jermaine Stevens Jr., a college football star at the California University of Pennsylvania, has raised more concerns on student athletes during the pandemic. Our ABC sister station in Pittsburgh reporting Stevens died from complications of COVID-19.
We consider ourselves a family, and he was a very, very big part of it.
A new study from Ohio State now suggesting up to 15% of healthy college athletes show signs of heart inflammation as they recover from COVID-19. The study looked for myocarditis, an inflammation or infection of the heart, which is responsible for the leading cause of sudden cardiac deaths in athletes under 35 years old. Dr. Jyotu Santu with Sharp-Rees-Steele Medical Group says there's still a lot to learn about athletes as it pertains to COVID.
Start a gradual routine. And if you experience any kind of undue shortness of breath that you're not otherwise used to, or it seems a little unfamiliar to you, then you may want to get further testing before you move further.
The American Heart Association saying there's much to learn about the long-term effects when it comes to the heart after COVID. Doctor recommendations for athletes who have had COVID-19 with mild symptoms is to rest completely 2 weeks after symptoms have resolved. For more severe cases, Dr. Santu suggests a full cardiac evaluation.
A good rule of thumb is for people who are trying to get back into an exercise regimen to increase to about 10% per week. So just a gradual increase, and don't really push it because eventually you'll get there.
Vanessa Van Hefty, ABC 10 News.
Dr. Sanhu says he encourages people who have recovered to get an all clear from their doctor and don't be afraid to exercise. It has a dramatic benefit for illness prevention and those with chronic illnesses.
Governor Gavin Newsom sent a word of caution to Californians as we head into flu season.
By getting a flu shot, you protect yourself and you mitigate the impact of what some have referred to as the twindemic of a potential second wave of COVID-19 transmissions and the flu happening concurrently.
The governor went as far as to get the flu shot live during his press conference, saying the vaccine was safe. Last week, the state's Health and Human Services Secretary said there were early signs that COVID-19 transmission was on the rise again. Newsom said those upticks were visible in Southern California. He asked Californians to stay vigilant as we move into this next possible wave of the pandemic. With colder weather on the way, the nation's top infectious disease expert is urging Americans to continue social distancing and wearing masks to help keep the virus at bay during flu season. The U.S. has the highest death toll than any other country. More than 204,000 Americans have died from the virus. This comes as the Trump administration announced today it will ramp up rapid testing, with the most vulnerable communities receiving them first.
We're announcing our plan to distribute 150 million Abbott rapid point-of-care tests. This will be more than double the number of tests already performed.
The U.S. is averaging 40,000 cases a day, but some areas are scaling back their shutdowns. Florida's governor lifted most coronavirus restrictions in the state on Friday. Authorities in New York City are threatening to lock down some neighborhoods in Brooklyn and Queens because of a recent surge in cases.
We have a new crime alert out of La Mesa. Police need your help identifying this woman who allegedly took part in the burglary and looting at Pierre's Jewelers. Now, these are photos of the woman taken from surveillance video on the night of that La Mesa riot on May 30th. If anyone has any information, you're asked to call La Mesa Police. Crime Stoppers is also offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to an arrest. The man who fired a BB gun at an Oceanside business learned his fate today. 23-year-old Steve Soto was sentenced to 3 years of probation, including 1 year in county jail. He pleaded guilty last month to charges of violating civil rights by damaging property and vandalism. Police say back in early June, Soto drove by Bliss Tea and Treats and then fired a BB gun at the business from his car. That business had a sign supporting the Black Lives Matter movement.
Your voice, your vote. Calvin Barrios suspended his campaign for San Diego City Council District 9 just hours ago. Barrios is a former city council aide and is a current labor union staffer. The suspension comes after his employer, Local 89, withdrew its support. The union said it took the actions after Barrios admitted to misusing campaign funds while serving as the treasurer for San Diego County's Young Democrats. Barrios' spending is currently under investigation by the district attorney. He released a statement saying, in part, "I have made mistakes. My goal is and will continue to be to bring resources and support to everyone in my district." President Trump is responding to a New York Times report that he paid little to no federal taxes over the last 15 years. This comes on the eve of his first debate against Joe Biden. Here's ABC's Alex Perchet.
I am looking very forward to the debate. Thank you, everybody.
Good luck tomorrow. President Trump may be looking forward to the first presidential debate tomorrow, but today it's his tax records that are taking center stage. This bombshell investigation from the New York Times saying it obtained more than 2 decades of the president's tax information. Data Trump has repeatedly refused to release, citing an IRS audit. ABC hasn't seen any of the documents the Times has obtained, but the information allegedly paints a picture of a president deep in debt with a series of financial losses. According to the Times, President Trump paid no federal income taxes in 10 of the past 15 years, and in 2016 and 2017 paid only $750 to the IRS. He reportedly had write-offs for residences, aircraft, and even a $70,000 tax deduction for hairstyling costs during his time on The Apprentice. The Times also says most of his core businesses, including his golf courses and hotel just blocks from the White House, report losing millions, putting the president's personal debt at $421 million, money coming due in just a few years as he currently runs for re-election. President Trump's response to the Times reporting evolving. Yesterday,
totally fake news. No, actually, I paid tax.
But today, seeming to tweet an explanation as to why he paid so little in taxes. I paid many millions of dollars in taxes, but was entitled, like everyone else, to depreciation and tax credits. The Biden campaign already launching attack ads over the Times report, highlighting the thousands ordinary Americans pay in federal income taxes.
He doesn't know how to debate the facts because he's not that smart.
And all of this tees up the debate tomorrow here in Cleveland. Ohio is a crucial state, often seen as the predictor of who will win the White House. Alex Perchet, ABC News, Cleveland, Ohio.
ABC 10 will be airing the first presidential debate live tomorrow. First, join us at 4 o'clock for all the news of the day, followed by World News tonight at 4:30.